Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think we have a lot to cover from the other side, their rhetoric, and frankly, some misinformation about what this bill does. I think my colleague from the first covered a lot of great points, but really what this bill does is currently the Milwaukee Choice Program will be completely funded by GPR by 2025. And already in state law, legacy charter schools are funded by GPR. So what my bill does, it says, why not fund the rest of the choice program and new independent charter schools with GPR? It is an accounting fix. It is creating consistency across both programs. And we actually heard from administrators and school board members about how they wanted this. This would help them set their budgets every year and make it less confusing. So I think it's a great idea. But what's also interesting is that, the other side of the aisle will bring up all of these things that aren't related to this bill, whether it's, more public school funding or, how choice schools or charter schools are unaccountable. And that's not true either. I actually have with me state report cards for private schools. It's public. You can go online and look it up. They have to report all of that, how their students are doing. And we also heard from the gentleman from the 62nd that choice schools, private schools, do have to do assessments. It's in state law. They are accountable. There is transparency. And they are great schools, and a lot of great kids go there. We also heard from the other side about, Republicans are only doing this bill because of special interests. And I have no idea what that means. Who they're referring to, because when I think about this bill, I'm thinking about parents who decide to send their child to a different school that works better for their child, whether it's a new public school or if it is a private school. Parents make that choice for what's best for their child. I don't consider them a special interest group. I think they have a right to decide. And also, we're not even talking about, the merits of the program, but when we're throwing crazy things out there like that, I think it's really putting down the parents and kids who choose to go to these types of schools for whatever reason they may. And so I was just really disappointed by a lot of things I heard from the other side. And I also don't understand why we would want to push this off to the next budget when we can get this done right now. I ran for office to fix problems and get things done for my constituents. I didn't run to continually talk about the same problems again and again every election season. And unfortunately, that's what I feel like I'm hearing from the other side of the aisle. Oh no, let's not fix it. Let's get it done, next year so I can complain about it on the campaign trail. And the most interesting part about this is that Democrats were actually for decoupling before they were against it. There is actually a bill out currently. It is AB 516, and essentially, if the bill were to become law, the total cost of payments made to private parental choice schools would come directly from the state. So that bill is essentially decoupling the program. It does have other things in the bill, maybe why it never received a hearing, but there are members from the other side of the aisle who introduced the bill and are co-sponsors, and yet when we did a bill that was pared down, just focusing completely on decoupling, they weren't in favor of it. Also, the governor was in favor of decoupling when he was the state superintendent. He put it in his budget request in 2015. He thought this was a good idea. He knows that this will help public schools. We hear it again and again. Anything we can do to help them set their budgets, make it less confusing, and also making the two programs consistent across the board. I think it's a great bill, and last but not least, it will cut property taxes across the state. And that's something I hear about all the time. How on earth are we going to help people of all ages, whether you're young and trying to buy a home or you're a senior and you want to stay in your home, when our property taxes keep going up? And this will lower property taxes, and I know it's very popular for people across the state. And another thing we heard from the other side of the aisle is fully funding education in general. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure they could ever come up with a number that truly means fully funding, But I know the governor in his budget did do a 402-year veto that will be raising our property taxes for 402 years. And so my bill will help a little bit, not enough, lower our property taxes. So I wish this would be bipartisan today, since we know the governor has supported this in the past. We know there's a bill out there with support from the other side that does very similar things, and we know our public schools support it. So the vote's green. Thank you.